even if I want to teach, I don't have intention of teaching you new things. I want you to get started with the project. It is when you have started building your project, the errors you'll be having, the challenges you'll be having with what will drive the class. So I'll be teaching you based on errors that you have. And for those who submit errors earlier, and this is what I mean. If you start working on your project early, let's say you start working today and you have errors between Monday to Wednesday, you have errors and you alert me on Wednesday, it means that error will be what I will teach first thing on Saturday. Now, if your own comes first, we'll treat yours first. If your own comes second, we'll treat you second, and so on and so forth. So, but if you send us challenges on Friday or on Saturday, be rest assured we may not have the time to go through it. So start working on your project. If you have challenges or something you can't figure out, you let me know. When we're fixing the next class, we attend to that challenge in the next class. So that is what I mean by your challenges will drive the class. Sorry, Uche, sorry about that. Sorry about the network. Emmanuel, sorry. Is this still breaking on your own end? Is this still breaking on your own? Okay, let me try reconnecting again. For me, I'll try reconnecting. Okay, can you hear me now? I'm sorry for that. Yes, can you hear me now? I am here now. Yes, I am here now. Is it better now? All right, good. The good thing is I have no intention of teaching a new thing today. We want to talk about the project. I don't know who actually added my name to Gitignore, which is why, but it's good we're here. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, this is your opportunity to show yourself in this project. Even though, I repeat, even though you are not selected among those who will be given job with Access Bank or with CareerX, it doesn't matter. What matters is you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge. So, any questions? Really? Sorry, OBCK, sorry if it's still breaking. I'm sorry. I had to restart my internet, give it a few minutes before actually turned it off, give it a few minutes before turning it on again. Is this still breaking? Kenneth, is this still breaking? Samuel, is this still breaking? Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So, first things first, the project will be graded based on this MVC format. I may not be the one that will grade your project, so please build it very well. I'm used to teaching, and I will have, like, where I teach my last class. When I teach this towards the end of the project, the whole students will build their project and come and defend their project in front of the board. So you will stand and start talking about your project, how you built it, why you choose what you chose, everything you did, why you did them also. So I may be the one to review your project. I also may not be the one to review your project. So, but if you build this MVC rule, believe me, if you show this project to anybody, it will get you an interview. Like, once they see the project, it will get you an interview. Only one project is enough as a back-end developer. Only one is enough. Unlike front end, where they want to see a complete project. But for a back-end person, just have this MVC rule, have your codes in different files, in different folders. That's enough. You can, with it, you can actually understand any backend at all you are given. Of course, you've seen all the projects, and I'm sure if you're good already, you understand that all of the projects are almost the same. That's one thing with backend. It's only difficult from the beginning. After then, backend becomes simple. Very, very simple. So, is there anybody else that wants to say something? Uh, Nobody. Nobody. Okay. 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 Prince, where is Prince? Please go ahead. Prince, are you on this call?
Okay, so
Please unmute yourself and go.
good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. Well,
Okay, sorry, I didn't start when the I didn't join when the class started because of network. I had to look for a better network because my network was actually breaking, so I wasn't flowing. So I had to get another SIM card to connect and all of that. So I actually missed the early part of the discussion. But for me, I actually choose the single. Unfortunately, I saw my name on the group, which is one of the group. The We are actually looking at the e-commerce. I know how hard it is on the e-commerce. I think it's one of the first of all. But no problem. We'll see how we can actually do it. But what I want to ask is, since it's a group, how are we actually going to be able to do it together? Since we are in different places, and the time I may be chanced may not be the time that the uh, person will be chanced. And how is it one person will be working on it and will make suggestions and thereabout? So how do we work as a group? Are we to be having a meeting and then we'll bring our ideas together? Or I don't really know because I've never been involved in such kind of group work, especially when it is if it's offline, we can actually meet. But since it's online, I've never been in this kind of group, so I don't know how it can be done for us to achieve this target to us. So I don't know if you could throw more light on that too. I don't know if you actually said it earlier when we started, but I think I missed it. So that's my concern.
I'm still here. I'm trying to switch networks because of those who are complaining. But I'm still here. So in working in a group, this is what I would suggest for those who are working in a group. For me, I had to ask you to pick numbers first. Based on the numbers you chose, I then divided it for you. So before you meet, before you talk together, every single one of you should go through the project, like individually. Go through the project individually. Weigh yourself. Now, when you want to have a talk, you can have it like, say, tomorrow is Monday. Group 1, let me just assign that. Group 1, you have the whole floor on Monday. Group 2, let's say in the morning, I think we have 4 groups. 4 groups. So on Monday, from 8 a.m., I have you know what? Let me actually create these groups. Sorry, I will create it for you now. Group 1, here is your group. Yes, where do I have it? So you are free. Group 2 are also, so I will create all the groups for you, but so this is what I would suggest. Go through all the projects, everything that is required individually. Weigh yourself, tell yourself the truth. Which part of this project can I build and share with people, and there will be no errors, no nothing at all. Whether it's the early part of the project, the beginning or the end, pick that part. Then in your group topic, you can initiate your own in the morning and somebody will reply you in the afternoon or reply you in the night. It doesn't really matter. But the project should be divided. Pick the part you're very good in. Tell the team, this is the part I'm good in. So you've picked your part, the other person has picked his part. Based on that, we know who will start the project. One person should start the project, create the project, set everything up, push it to GitHub like that, and then share the links to everybody. Then possibly that same person should take the username of everybody or their email address and then add them to that GitHub repo. So this is what I mean. If you can see my screen, create a GitHub repo. I think I have one that I created here. For example, this repo, where is it? So create a GitHub repo for that project. This is MVC. Who will I add to this repo? I think I can. So go to settings, add contributors to your project. Collaborators. Sorry, I need to verify. Somebody asked. This is the name I saw on Google. That's the name I saw on Google, Peters. But I will check. Let me confirm again. Where will it be? It's going to be a group 8 responses. Here is that name again. It's not here. Is that not group 8 project? 7. Okay, it's here. This is what I saw on Google Classroom. So which is why Peters is coming in your name. Here, this is what I saw. So well, we can always change it. Let me just show you how to add collaborators. If possible, you can also add me to your repo, but one person, your tag should be set it up. Now you can do more than that. If you are good, you can do more than that. But if you're not so good, you can assign that to just one person. Can you still hear me? I want to believe you can still hear me. Okay, if that's what you want to call it, that's fine. Yes, so one person create the project, come to settings on repo, add collaborators, add them by either with their emails or their username. So I will add this. And then this is Samuel. You can add Samuel. So Samuel is going to get an email to accept your invite. And Samuel is here. So this is pending, waiting for him to accept. The moment he accepts this, then he can actually make his own changes and push to this particular repo. But you will not do git init again because the person that added you here must have done git init. So your own will be git add dot, git commit, and git push. That's all. You can push back to this particular repo like that. So everybody can have one single repo for the project like that. So for the groups, I will create all the groups. I think I have group 1, group 2. I will create all the groups. So you can have your discussions here. It doesn't have to be the same time, but go through the whole project. Tell yourself the truth. Which part can you work on? Drop the parts you can work on. If you can do more than one part, fine. If you can do 3, 4, fine. But just drop it there. Let the groups accept it and know who is responsible for every one of them. So whenever you are free, the first person to set up the project will set up the whole thing. You clone it. When you clone it, you add your own changes. They will be waiting for you to add your own changes. Also, you can't hear. Sorry, is there anybody who cannot hear me? Is there anybody? Sorry, let me switch to this network. All right. Okay, so like I said, you don't need to all be available at the same time. You go through the project, pick your own part in the project, drop that part you want to work on your group topic. Everybody knows what you are working on. Also tell them when to expect. You have 3 weeks. So please let your own task not cause the last person not to finish up his own task. Otherwise, your project is not complete. So finish up your own part early enough. If you know you don't have light today, you're not going to have light tomorrow. In fact, this week, you will not have light. Please don't pick the first part of the project. Leave that part. For the person who is very certain that he or she will have light this week, pick the first part, set up the project, add everybody to the project, do whatever it is that is the beginning part of the project, and hands off the project. Let the next person take it up from there, add his own part, but make sure that everybody is going through the codes. Even if you are going through it in the morning or in the afternoon, please go through the codes, because what they write for you is what you will submit. So when they write something and you are not okay with it, please drop a comment for them. You can drop it on GitHub. Yeah, here on GitHub, you have issues. You can actually drop questions. I think there's another place you can also add comments. Okay, but you can drop your comments here in your topics. You can drop your comment here so that the person who is working on that thing will actually pay attention to what you are talking about and make changes. This is how it works in a normal company. Although sometimes we have stand-up meetings like that. So, but if you all don't have the same time, pick your own part, work on it, deliver. Now, the people who I pity are those who are working alone. You have to do everything alone. Now, your project with the people who are working on the group will be judged the same way. So we're not going to say because you are working alone, you couldn't finish some part, or you didn't do everything, or you didn't do, no. You don't even need to see my screen because I'm not doing anything with my screen. Yeah, apart from this thing that is open here, I'm not doing much with my screen. Sorry. So for those who are working alone, please, I don't want to see two persons doing the same thing. Like the names of your variables, there is no way. I understand some variable names can be the same, like the schema names can be the same, the model names can be the same, but there are small variables that I know will not be the same. If I see all your variables the same, I know that all of you copied. So I will divide the mark into two, give you half. So if it is 10 marks, I give this person 5, give the other person 5, like that. So I know that you worked in a group, which was not supposed to be. Invite link. Sorry, let me send you another invite link. So any question, anybody wants to say something, you have the floor now before we start your project.
Hello, sir.
All right, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, you made a point, like the last point you made concerning having the same variable and sharing the same naming convention. Please, can you throw more light on it so that we'll be more clear about it?
Okay, I will open this MVC project. Here now, let me start with the route. This is my route. And you see my route name, add user. Now I want to believe if you are working on, for example, where is one of those projects? Where are the single guys? Let's say the recipe sharing. You're supposed to implement CRUD and also implement categories. Instructions, gradients, title, and all of that. These names are variables. They can be the same. Username, email, password, they will be the same. But there will be a middleware to validate the user payload for register. So if you call it validate register, everybody validate register, then you copy it. Validate register payload, and this person validate register payload the same way, then I know you copy because I didn't give you that name here. Now, but let's say the validate register may be the same. Let's assume that may be the same. Now you need to perform CRUD operations for all of this. So let's say the first function, your first function, the name of your first function, the name of your second function are the same. Like here I have handle add user. Your own function too is the same. The first one, the second one, the third one, they are all the same. That's obvious that you copied somebody. That's pretty obvious because there's no way two of you will be thinking the same way. Let's assume that is not it. Let's assume you didn't copy. And then we come here where you are actually returning messages. And you are returning exactly the same message. For your first function, the second function, you're returning the same messages, the same message. Oh no, there's no way two of you will be thinking the same way. There's no way. And here we have, where are all those variables? Where are all those variables? Where else will I see another variables? Okay, they have nothing here. But don't worry, just do your project. If you do it independently, I will know. If you do it by lifting somebody's work, I will know. So, but what I'm saying is, to approve the codes pushed on GitHub, okay. I understand the part you are talking about. I was thinking we'll leave that part. Now, if you do that part, we're going deeper into GitHub, where number one, the first person that will do it will be using the master branch or the main branch. Every other person will be sending in their, their branch name. So if you are trying to create a repo, you know there's a place where you create a branch name. So you should be creating that branch with your name. For example, let's say I want to create a repo here. Or you know what? Let me close this and let me just create a dummy repo. So this part here where you create a branch, this line is to create a branch. Now, if you want, the first person will be creating a master branch. That is the person who is responsible for merging the project. If you want to go that way, or you can add me to your repos and I will be merging your project for you. Better still, we can leave it. This is what I wanted. I wanted direct pushing, meaning that the first person will work on it. When the first person works on it, you will clone it, continue working, and push back to that same branch, because what you have will also include that person's own project. Now, the other persons will not clone it yet until it gets to your own part. The second person is done, will push to that same branch. The third person will clone it again, add his own codes, and push back to that same branch. The fourth person will clone it again and push back to that same branch. This way, we will not be having conflict and the need to merge codes. Now, merging codes has a lot of, techniques involved in it. Sometimes you need to merge it locally. Sometimes you can merge it on GitHub and resolve your conflict on GitHub. But other times you can't. You have to do it locally. But I don't want to put you through all that. One person, the first person, will build the project, push it to GitHub. The second person will clone it. Now, every other person should have access to it. You can clone it individually if you want and be seeing what they're working on. But the one you will push to that repo will be when it is your own time to work on the project. You clone it at that time. Now, if you have cloned it before, that's your choice. But when it's your turn, you clone it again. I don't want to bring into pull request. What's it called? Yeah. To pull from that one and then update your own. Pull and update your own. I don't want to bring you into that yet. We can always pick up that part, but I want it to be turn by turn. That way, the reason why I want it that way is that the person who is number 2 will always be on the case of number 1. Number 1, you've not done your job. Please do it. I'm waiting for you. Number 2, if the second person clones it, number 3 will be on his own case. Please complete your task and push it. I am waiting for you. Now, if you don't finish up on time, it means the 5th person, or maybe if there's a 5th person, the 5th person is going to be having issues like the delay. And all of you will suffer from that delay because the project is not complete. But because you are in the group, I expect it to be very, very fast. It should be very, very fast, unlike those who are working alone. So the issue of merging and conflict should not come up. But if it comes up, add me to your repo. And we can actually talk about it as a challenge. If you're having that challenge, add me to your repo. We come to class, we talk about it, and we resolve every issues like that. So any other question? And like I said, I had no intention bringing in new topics today. We want to be sure that everybody is starting the project by tomorrow, Monday. Are we still here? Are we still here? Is there Samuel, you want to say something? Go ahead. Who else?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, my concern about that was, instead of cloning, I have little knowledge of Git, so I was trying to find out if maybe someone creates a repo.
Yes.
Then maybe since he has to, because I'm familiar with just creating branch. And when someone push, you compare your changes, then you now
branch.
merge.
Yes.
But my own concern was, now merge the branch. My own concern was, Apart from that, I was looking for the part in Git whereby you can be able to, when they push, instead of them, they can create their branch when they push, because some of them may mistakenly just
Yes.
merge to the master and it will affect everything on the main branch. So is there a way they can be a kind of control? Okay, when you push, you will see all the and compare before you now accept or something on
All
GitHub.
right. If in your group, you all of you want to do it that way. Now, what I mean is, if you want to have one branch as a master branch, and everybody will have their own branches, that's fine. Now, any of you can merge and compare, so long as they add you as a collaborator, you can merge it. It can be the job of one person too, maybe the first person to merge it. So we can have the first person being the person responsible for merging it, if possible, or I just hope or anybody can merge it. So in your group, we can have one person whose job is to merge it. Now for this GitHub, let's talk about, you know what? Let's do GitHub. Yeah, let's do Git and GitHub. So what I would do is this. I have this part here. This is a repo I created now. So what I want to do is I want to push to this repo first. That's the first thing I want to do. So I will come in here, open my MVC. Yeah, let me use the MVC, the one I worked on MVC. So I want to push it to this branch, this particular branch. The first time I am pushing it as the owner of the project. Now, know that this thing already has Git in it. I've done Git in it before. So, but I might have a little challenge, but you will not have that challenges because it's the first time you are doing it. So the first time you are doing it, you will do Git in it. We are assuming that this is the first time. You don't do Git in it twice. Otherwise, you can't push to that branch, that repo again. So I will do Git init, and that is why you are seeing reinitialized. So that's the first thing. The second thing is git add dot. Git to add dot. And the next thing I want to do is commit, which is the third step. I will commit to this repo. Now I have committed. Then I want to set the URL. That this URL, you set it only once. You don't, the same thing with Git init. You do it only once. You don't do it again. It's only once. You do it once. Otherwise, you can't push to that repo again. So like I said, the first step is 5 steps. The second time is 3 steps. The first time, that the first person who will push to your project will do 5 steps. But after then, you'll be doing 4 or 3 steps. So I will add this. Now it says origin already exists. So instead of add, I will change it to set origin. Set URL. So I have set URL. I've set the URL. Then I can push. Now notice that my branch, by default, my branch is master branch. I did not create this branch. This part here is to create branch. I did not create it. So when I'm pushing it, I will make sure to rename this to master branch. Master, and I will push. Automatically, I have pushed here. So if I refresh this, you will see that code base here. And if you open here, is the master branch that is default. Now let's say somebody will come, do git clone. Now git clone is not hard. All you need to do is open your terminal on any folder you want to use for that project. Open your terminal there, type in git clone, and then copy this URL. Whether you can choose to copy it from here if you want, or you copy the code link from here. You can also copy it from here, anyone. So you copy it and you paste it. Sorry, let me minimize this. I want it to be smaller. Yeah. So you copy the link and you paste it here. It will clone automatically. So when it clones, by the time you are done adding your own codes, let's say I come to, I think I had something here inside this file. Let's say I want to add something inside this file. I will add any of my code base. I will add it. So here I will come back and do, I will not do git init again. I'll do git add dot to add my own changes. I've added my own changes, but you can't push like this. If you push like this, you'll be pushing to that master branch, which is this branch. So you can choose to create your own branch, but let's go with committing first. So I will commit. I'll commit git add dot. Before I push, I want to create my own branch, and I'll call it David, my name, so that when you see it on that repo, you know that that is my own branch. This is how to create your own branch. You hit enter. Now, by default, you should see that name here. You're not seeing it on my own, but if you do it in Windows, on Windows, you'll see it here. You'll see that David here. So when you are pushing, you will not be pushing master again. You will be pushing the branch you created, David. So if I hit enter, it should push David directly to GitHub. I want to believe that I am still in this class and you can hear me, because this is taking a while to push.
Yes, I can hear you. Can hear you.
Okay, unable to access that. Git push. All right. I'm not able to push. I don't know if it's my network, but it says my SSL is not able to access that. So let me confirm that I actually created the what is it called? I created the repo, the Git, the branch name very well. For the sake of those who don't have that the line of hand, I want to open it again. I think I have one branch. But git commit, create a branch, and then push your branch name. That's all. But if your group doesn't want to go that way, everybody can just clone, push to the master branch, clone, push to the master branch. That's all. But you can actually, you know what? I don't want to set it compulsorily that you must create a branch. You know what? We should create a branch. I think that would be better. By creating a branch. Sorry, Emmanuel. Now there are GitHub is not Git and GitHub is not difficult to understand. Let me confirm the network. Okay, something is wrong today. I can't tell why. It was something that I didn't want to teach today. All right. So when you push your own branch, this is what everybody will see. Everybody will see this. If you let repo, you will see it. Now you will see the branch name that pushed, the branch name pushed, and they pushed it. And you also see how to merge. So here you will see list of all the branches. This is the master branch. This is the David branch. So if you care to compare a pull request, if you click it, it will open all this.
Sorry,
now,
I can't see
you
your
might
screen.
want to write any message
See your
that
screen.
your teammate will see, or
Sorry, we can't see your
my,
screen.
my.
You're not sharing.
And I did that. Let me. Okay, can you see it now? Can you see my screen now? What is going on today? Okay. Okay, thank you. So I wanted to show you how to merge, but I think we have passed that. Okay, it's here now. It's here. So this is the first one I pushed. Is in the master branch. Let me confirm that I'm actually recording this. It's in the master branch. Now, when the second person push, this is what you will see. Or maybe the third person push. This is what everybody will see. Anybody, oh my God. Anybody can compare and merge. Pull request means to merge. That's what pull request means. You want to merge it. That's what pull request means. So this is my branch I push now. If you click this drop down, you will see the list of all the branches. Now, if you don't see this, all you need to do is just click on pull request. If you don't see this, this is what you need to click, pull request. But let's say you see this and you click on it. This is asking you to compare. Now you can write any message here to be the, say, I am the one that committed these changes from this to this and all of that. But look at this. This is what is important. You are using David and you are merging it to master. Make sure that you follow this arrow. David is being entered into master branches. These branches can be automatically merged. That is why you are seeing this green thing here. Otherwise, if there's a conflict, you will see red here. Now, when will there be a conflict? I want to tell you when there will likely be a conflict. The conflict is this. Let's say I clone, Samuel clones. Now, in the same project, we're all working on the same project. Then I go to index.js file and do something. Samuel also goes to the same index.js and do another thing. Then there will be conflict. Because at that time, two of us are not doing the same thing, but we are working on the same file. So if two persons are working on the same file at the same time, Git will not know which file to choose. Should it throw away my own file or should it throw away Samuel's file? That is what conflict means. But if I'm working on index.js file and Samuel is working on controllers or the routes, there will be no conflict. Okay, if I work on index.js file and I push it first and it is merged, then Samuel closes it, works on the same index.js and push it and it's merged, then there will be no conflict. Conflict happens only when two of us clone the repo, make changes on the same file and push it. Git will not know which of the files to pick from. That is what conflict is. So to avoid conflict, do not work on the same file at the same time. Before you work, be sure that the last person has actually pushed and is merged. So that way, Git already knows. Now you can clone your own, work on it, and then push, and it will be merged. But if all of you want to work on the same time, then let it be that you're not working on the same file at the same time. Work on different files. Otherwise, there will be conflict. So if you see this green, this is able to merge. Here you can write any description. You create a pull request, but you can look at it, compare it here and here. Now, this is telling me this is the part that was added. So if you want it, find, it will tell you this is what was here before. This is how the file was before. Now, this is what it is now. This is what has been added. So this spaces, this plus, this is what was added. And if you're okay with that, just click on create pull request, click on it, click pull request, and that will take you to how to just merge. You see a button to merge, and you merge it. That's all. Anybody can do this. But if you want, you can assign it to one person. So it's checking the possibility. When you check the possibility, you see merge pull request. And if you click on it, confirm merge, it has merged. So it's a pull request completely merged. So if you come back to your code base, you will see that this one now has this branch masters will have the same thing that is inside. So here it's saying commit 11 minutes ago. And if you open this David branch, you will see the same thing like that. So that's how you merge. Now, I don't know if I covered that part very well, but so long as two people are not working on the same file at the same time, you will not have conflict. That's all. So any question on that? Any question? Sorry, yes, I will upload the video. I will upload the video. Sorry about network, and it's a good thing that we're not teaching anything new like that. It's a good thing. Hopefully by next week, I want to pray everybody's network will be good. Everybody's network will be good. I hope so. I want to believe so. So any question or you don't understand what I just did now, please go ahead, ask your question, or we can actually end the class too. I think we have stayed a while. We've done something. Any question? Where is Ishe? I wanted to add you where to a single project, but I don't want you to, will I say, do everything and not be able to complete it. Where is your name? Where did I add you? Group 3. Yes, I think you chose a group. I don't know if you chose a group, but I was going to add you to a single project, but I felt that no, I don't want you to have incomplete projects. So be part of the team. Yeah, I'm sure BCK will do something. Lawal will do something. So Abba Adam, I've never seen this name in class, but I want to believe he knows what he's doing. He can also contribute to your project, and you will have a full project. Kenneth, go ahead. Where is Kenneth? Do you want to use the mic or mute yourself and go ahead? Ask your question, Kenneth. Okay. I am here. Ask your questions. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, good evening.
Okay, my question is...
Yes, I can hear you.
My question is based on my project. Like, I understood so many parts of it somehow clear, but the arrow
Which your project
is a
which part is your project?
Event management.
Single.
Event management.
Is it a single project? Project number 2 or group project? What number?
It's a single project.
I don't know which ones. Single projects, 2 or 3?
4. Like,
4.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. The arrow SVP, I I think you talked about it yesterday, probably, but I wasn't there because my network flight off almost to 9. It came back, so I missed more than half of the class.
Okay.
So what I want to ask is, though I
Okay.
went online to read about the RSVP, when I saw it, I see that it's just a kind of a way of managing events and scheduling based on who is going to come and not the rest of that. But what I want to
Exactly.
confirm is, does it need a mod a package or a module to use it, like the way we install Mongoose and start working on it, or is just a kind of schema to manage and handle event for attendees?
Now, can you see
I
my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, here it says role. Here.
Yes.
Now, this is role. You can use this role to manage your RSVP, or you can create another key here and call it RSVP. Now,
Okay.
RSVP means there are events that is open to everybody. There are that are open to just a few persons. So you will be the one to decide how you want to implement it. This is what you can do. The first one is you create an endpoint for participants to actually sign up or maybe register for an event. You understand?
Okay.
However you want to do it. Organizers will create an event, participant to register for that event, and which is why you have the user schema. Now, this user schema, using the role, you should know who is an organizer and who is an ordinary user, like that. Now, you can also go further to say an ordinary user can have different levels. There are table for 2, table for 3. Now, you pick a name or maybe a code for each of them. If your code is code 1, it means you're an ordinary user. If your code is code 2, it means you are table for 2. If your code is for code 3, it means you're, what is it called? You are, what is it called? Table for 3,
Yes.
like that. I'm not just saying that's what you should do. I'm saying
Yes.
that's how you can, another way to manage RSVP. So if you create a project, if organizer create a project and they say the participants for this project are people from code 1, that means it's for everybody. If they say it's participant from code 4, it means that code 1, code 2, code 3 will not apply. You should be able to check for that. This event is just for people from code 4 and above. So that's another way to handle RSVP functionality. Now, if you want to create an entire schema, is your choice. If you want to add it to this user schema, is also your choice. But there is no dependency. There is nothing about it has nothing to do. What it just means is you want to check the privileges they have. Are you an ordinary user? I think there's a name. There's the name event planners call it. There's different type of ticket. There's the regular ticket. There's a table for
VIP,
two.
and
Yeah, and so on and so forth. That's what RSVP means. So when participants are signing up, they will log in and send a request that they want to attend that project. You will check what kind of ticket do they have. Is it for regular ticket? And also when an organizer is creating an event, you should also have what type of participant is he expecting to. I think I'm actually telling you what to do on the project, but I'll stop there. So any other person with a question? But are you okay? Do you understand what I just said now?
yes, up to 75%, I think so.
All right, we'll finish the remaining 30% next week.
Thank you.
Okay, cost rep, you can go ahead. Stevia, are you there? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us. Yes, yes. You can use the mic, unmute yourself, and go ahead. Front-end developer. You're actually a full-stack developer. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please don't give me that
Yes.
yet. I wanted to know that this thing you explained where you create routes in different folder, then you will now import it in the
Yes.
index. Yes. In that route, can you create like 2 or 3 endpoints there, like API? Then
This,
you now export it once. I
this,
don't really know how to do that one
you mean
when you
this?
create. Yes, if you create
You
two
mean
or three.
this?
Yes. If you create like 2 or 3 in that same file, how would you import each one?
You are not importing each one. Now, this route here that you imported here covers every endpoint that will be inside the user route. Except you create a new file here. If you create a new file here and you call it event routes, like this. Sorry, my spelling is not correct. This is JS. Like this. And then you copy everything that is here, Control A, copy, and you put them here. I'm just assuming you have a different route now. Now, in this route, you have so many things. Whatever you put here does not really matter. What matters is you come to your index file and import that file. So this can be route 2. The other one is route 1. But you can call it the names, event route and event route.
I'm actually doing that, and
/ event route.
It's giving me an error. Like you cannot get the second API. You can't get it. It's only the first one is getting. That's why I was asking.
Okay. Let's go through what I have. Like this. Now, what I want to ask you is this. You have the function to handle the request, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do you have a function to handle the request?
Yes, I have.
Is she on this call?
Can anyone hear me? I'm talking, no.
Yes, I can hear you, Sylvia.
Hello, Sylvia, are you here?
Yes, I'm
Can
here.
anybody
I can
hear
hear her, sir. She's speaking.
me?
Maybe network.
Okay. Okay. So your question is that if you have 2 or 3 routes like this, it doesn't get this one.
Yes. You only get that first one.
Yes, I can hear you. I can also hear her. I can also hear her. Are you serious? Let me switch. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So your question is that you have two routes here like this, and it's
Yeah.
only getting the first one.
So I'm not seeing your screen.
Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Your question was that if you have more than one route like this, it only gets this first one. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So my question now is, are the endpoints having the same names?
No.
Are they the same request types?
Yes.
Okay. The function that is handling them, are they the same functions?
No.
Now I have two here. Let's say I have three, and I'll call these TT, and I'll call this is just for test KK. And here I will go back. I will close this one, and then go back to this function, duplicate it twice. Command. Yeah, that's the first one. Now this one is not doing anything. I'll just say handle T and T. So inside here, I just want to return a response, nothing much. I just want to return a response that says successful. So I have this. I'll create another one, and then this will handle KK. Okay, and I will be exporting the two of them so that I will have access to them here. So here where I'll be importing them in the user route, I'll be importing them here, handle TT and handle KK. Sorry, these names are just for test purposes. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So I have two routes. Now, in order for the messages to be different, I will just add a little thing, successful TT and successful KK, so that I know which response I am getting and where it is coming from. So this is my controllers, and then here I am having two routes. Now you don't import them twice. You import it only once. I will remove this event because for now I don't need the event. I want to work on only this route here. Like I said, you don't import them twice. You import only once. When you import that route once, you leave it, and then you tell your app to use all of the routes that will be inside that file. If you have another file, then you will add another route. If you have another file, you have another route. So, but because we have only one route, only one file handling for all the users' routes, I'm not talking about this event route now. If we import this event route, then we'll add another line here for event route. But this route now will be for everything inside the user route. So let's test this with our Postman. I'll open Postman, and I want to believe you can still hear me and you can still see my screen. You can still hear me, you can still see my screen. So this one of them is TT. I'll send it. Okay, I'm not running the server. Let me run server. npm run dev. It's running MongoDB connected. So if I send, I'm getting a response, TT. If I change this to KK and send, I'm getting a response, KK. And if I change it to, so I don't even need to change it to any more things. This should let you know that I'm getting the different endpoints. This means I'm getting the different endpoints. So make sure the endpoint you are calling is different for each one of them. Make sure the endpoints, they are different from each one of them. And when you are setting up your routes, like I said, this one file, you can have so many routes here. It doesn't matter. You can have all your routes in one file. It doesn't matter. The moment you import it once, that's all. You don't import it again. You only import it once inside your index file. Where is that index file? Here. You only import it once here, and that's all. So it is this thing here covers for all the endpoints you will have here. Now make sure that the endpoint name are different. Now, if you don't want to use slash, you can use underscore. The two of them works. Underscore or slash, they all work like this. So I wish I would see your code base so that I know what is actually wrong. But this is with this, you don't need to import them twice. It's just once. You can be adding more routes here. Be adding as many routes as you want. If you get tired of it and it's too long, you can create another route, which is this. We can have another route here. Let me say I have another route in this controller or in another controller. You can have it in another controller. I will say handle event. So here it will be return successful events. And I will export this particular function here. You can do this in a different controller if you want. And then down here, I will change this to event. And then here it will be handle event. Then this handle event will replace this one here and save. So because this is a different route now, I need to come here and import this route. So I could say this is / event route, and I'll copy the name and replace this name event route. So here now I will say after that one, also use event route and save it. That's all. So I can now add so many routes inside there, as many as I want. And we can test this one. If I go to / event, I think that's the name of the endpoint. Is it event or event? Let me check. It's actually event. So since it's event, I need to add an S. Now I'll send this request and it says successful event. So you don't import the route individually. You import the file once and it will respond that. So somebody was saying they have a question. Who else was saying they have a question? Gabriel, are you still there? Do you still have a question? Gabriel, where is he? Gabriel, go ahead. Do you still have a question? Ishe, where is Ishe? Go ahead. Ask your question, Ishe. I can hear you. Single 2. What's single 2? What is on single 2? Here. Recipe. Yes, go ahead. I can hear. I want to hear from you. Ishe, are you there? Gabriel, Ishe, who else has a question?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I don't know if you've answered that question already, but I think my network has been fluctuating, so I'll just ask it.
Okay.
Yeah, concerning the group project.
Okay.
So are we submitting it as a single repo or individually? Like
Okay.
everyone is going to duplicate, clone, and submit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my question.
All right, you can mute now. Let me answer the question.
All right.
So, for groups, I expect you to work together and share the project. So everybody should contribute something to it. But at the end of the project, you will be submitting it individually so that I know that you have actually run the codes, and what you are submitting to me, you know that it is working. You were there. So I don't want one person to submit it on behalf of everybody. No. Work on it together, clone your own, and submit. Work on it together, clone your own, and submit. That's all. I don't want one person. I would have said let one person work on it, but you'll be surprised that only one person will work on it and then submit it on behalf of everybody. Clone your own, push it to your repo, and submit to. But I think that's all I want to say. So, Isha, are you there? Okay, let me explain the recipe sharing. Now, you're going to do authentication, the login, send them email, and all of that. In your schema, make sure that for the user schema, you have the username, the email, and their password. You can add anything you want in addition. You can add extras. Then you are going to have another schema for the recipe. The schema will be the title, the ingredients, instructions, author, tags. Now, this created that you can use timestamp or you add created that manually. Perform CRUD operation for recipes, meaning they should be able to add, create, update, read, get one, and all of those CRUD operations for recipe schemas. Like that. Now, taking it a step forward, you can create categories. So when you are creating recipes, there can be categories for each recipe. So when you want to add a recipe, you can choose a category you want to add it now. There are two ways to do that. You can create a category schema if you want, or in addition to this recipe schema, you add the category key. That's another way to do it. So you can call it categories or you call it tags. That's all. Now, there should be favorite. Favorite means a user can, this is taking it a step further. A step further. Wait, are you in group 2 or single project 2? Where is she? The recipe. Are you in single 2 or group 2? Because I think I added you to a group. Where is the names here? You are actually in single project 3. Why am I explaining single project 2? This lady doesn't. Are you here? Are you part of us? Okay. Okay. All right. So single project 3 is a different thing, which will be here. This is for personal finance tracker. Yes. Like I said, authentication should be there. The person who is going to be running that application should be able to create an account, send them an email, be able to log in at any time, hash their password before saving it. Now you're going to be defining a schema for the user and another schema for transactions, like that. Now the user schema should have a minimum of username, email, and password. You can add other information to the user schema if you want. Now the transaction schema should have transaction type, whether it's an income or is an expenses. So the person is just taking a record of every money they have or their finance. So this money, this is an income, this one was an expense, like that. So have a transaction type, income or expenses. There should be the amount, there should be category, the date of the transaction, the user, and the description, like that. So the user that made that transaction will be the user's ID. This will be the user's ID. Then perform or implement CRUD operation for transactions, meaning they should be able to add transactions, get all transactions, get one transaction, edit, update one transaction, delete one transaction. So 5 CRUD operations. Now, for each of these transactions, you can choose to categorize them and say you want to get transactions that are incomes or transactions that are expenses. That's for your own categorization. If you want to add another category to it, you can use this part and say expenses made for school, expenses made related to churches, expenses made as an individual, expenses you made related to transportations. So you can add that here as another category if you want, but just choose however you want to categorize all the transactions like that. So there should be an endpoint to get all transactions. There should be an endpoint to get all transactions that are related to schools, or transactions that are related to market. I bought this in the market. Or maybe you want to get all transactions that are incomes, or all transaction type that are expenses, like that. So your implement is your choice, however you choose to implement them. So any other person?
I have a question, sir.
Who is? Go ahead. Who?
Okay, mine is group 3. Group 3, e-commerce.
Okay, go ahead.
You ask from the place you said we implement routes for managing the shopping carts. Okay, add, update, delete items, and you now said it should be admin only. So I don't understand that part. Why it should be admin?
Okay, this is what I mean. Now, this admin only means that when you are adding a product or deleting a product or updating a product, only admins should do that. If your role, because here you have a role on the user schema, if your role is a user and you are trying to add a product, let the platform say invalid authentication or access denied or any of those things. It should not allow you. But if your role is admin, then you should be able to add a product, update a product, or delete a product. Now, this part where you are managing the shopping cart, you are adding, anybody can do this. A user can decide to pick an item and add that item to the shopping cart. They can say, okay, no, I want to change the item I want. I don't want that one again. Or you know what, the item I added to the shopping cart, I will delete it. So that means you should have 3 schemas: the user schema, the product schema. Now, the user schema is just for authentication. The product schema is to, users should be able to get the product schema. So it's not only the admin that will get the product. Users should be able to get all products or get one product. But users are not allowed to add a product, update a product, or delete a product. Only admins can do that. So you should manage that with their role, like that. So, but when you're adding a product, you should present all of this and add your product. Now here, users should be able to add a product to order. So this order here is actually what we call, you might want to call it your cart if you want, or you want to create another one to handle carts. Then when the product, when the transaction is completed, then you call that an order. When the user is actually has completed the whole, I pick a product, I send you the product as my order. Then you create an order schema here where you get the user ID, the product ID, the total, or all the products ID. So this should be an array of IDs relating to product. Bang, 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 bang. Well, it's not a big deal. We can fix that up. You'll learn how to do it later. So I don't see any other thing difficult here. Implement creation of order and viewing order history. So if I have created an order, I should be able to get all the orders that I have created. Now, ensure that only admin users can manage products. Now, managing product means adding product, updating product, and deleting product. It's not about getting the product. Anybody can get the product. Of course, you need to see the product before you buy. So if you say it's only admin that can get the product, that means the user will not see the product. How will they buy? Will they pay you for that kind of project? The answer is no. And they'll give you a colored calculator. Project 2. Single project 2. Prince, are you okay with that explanation, or do I explain further? Hello, Prince, are you there?
I'm little. Yes, I'm okay. I'm a little okay. Maybe when we know how far we can go. Maybe if we need your help, we can call on you. But let's start something first.
All right, start something first. By tomorrow, at least the first person should start something first. Single project 2, I think I stopped at. I think I was talking about saving recipe. So here, a user can save their favorite recipe. So each of these recipe will have ID. So create a route that will be creating favorites for users. So what you can do is have another schema here for favorites, or in the user schema, you have a key that is called favorites. What you are simply doing in that favorite array, if you are using a key, the key should be an array. What you are simply doing is you take the ID for the recipe the user will send you, and you push that ID into the user's favorite array. So as they keep picking favorites, you'll be adding the IDs into that favorite array. Or you create a schema for favorites, and you say each schema will have the user's ID and the product or the recipe they want to set as their favorite. So you'll be creating new favorites in a different schema with the user and the recipe they want, the user and the recipe they want. So that's a different way of doing that part. Ensure only authenticated users can create and manage recipes. So that means you need to be sure that it's only persons that are logged in. Now you can go a step further and say in the user schema you want to add roles. So the roles now is some persons will be readers, their own is just to read. Some persons will be editors, their own is to add recipes, while others will read. So this part here, it means that it is only those that their role is equal to editors that can actually add or delete or update recipes. Now, any other person has to be logged in, but they can only get all the recipes or get one recipe as a reader. That's your choice. However you want to do it, there are different ways of doing it, but figure out the best way that you want to do it, and that'll be all. Any other question before we call it a day? Single project 3. What is single project 3? This is what I wanted you to ask me a long time ago. Is it now that we're almost ending that we want to? Sorry, I know we started today's class late, but I wanted to hear persons say, explain this project, explain this project. This is single project 2, finance tracker. We did this just now. Is it not this? Lawal. Is it this one you're talking about? Single project 3? Okay. Single project 3, implement authentication, log the user in, register the account, send them an email. That's compulsory. Now the user, you can add the username, their email, and their password in the schema. You can add any other thing you want, but these 3 are the minimum, most required. Now you need to have another schema that is called the transaction schema. In that transaction schema, there will be different keys. One of them is the transaction type, which can either be income or expenses. Another key is the amount, the category, the date, the user that made that transaction. So this user here represents the user's ID here. and then the description. So implement a CRUD route for transactions, meaning get all transaction, get a single transaction, update transaction, delete transaction. I don't think you need to update, but yes, go ahead and update a transaction. Then categorize transactions. Transactions that are the type is income. You have a route to get all transactions that are income based. You also have another route to get transactions that are expenses. Now, in this category too, you can choose to add transactions related to market. That is, I bought something in the market. Transaction that I use for transportation. Transaction that I paid school fees. So the category here, you should have a route that takes in a word, a keyword, or anything and gets you the transactions that match that keyword. So there are different ways to categorize your transactions. Do it the best way you understand. The best way you understand. So the last thing is to text all your routes. Finish. All right. So I don't think, do we still have any questions before we call it a day? Do we have any questions before we call it a day? No questions?
No, sir.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask if I could get some clarity on the project that I'm working on, the hospitality project that has to do with booking and ensuring that doctors that are available for particular dates booked.
That's what is it called? That's group 2, right?
Yes, group 4.
Group 4.
Sorry, group 3. Group 3. Sorry.
2. It's actually group 2. Medical appointment
Group
booking
2,
system, right?
Yeah.
So this means that you should have 3 schemas. One for the user, one for doctors, one for appointment. The one for doctors, you should have the username and their availability. This availability is simply dates. So it means that in the doctor schema, you have a key that is called availability, and it is an array of dates. Meaning the doctor you should create an endpoint that takes the date, takes the doctor, find that particular doctor and add that date into their availability array, so that when somebody is trying to create an appointment, they want to book an appointment with that particular doctor ID. Now, this is on the back end. The front end will go a different way. The front end will be that you will see a list of doctors. You choose one of the doctors and then click on book appointment. Once you click on the doctor's picture or a button under the doctor's picture, you book appointment with that doctor. That's how it will happen on the front end. But on the back end, booking appointment means that they are sending you the doctor ID. So the ID of the doctor they want to book and the date they want to book that appointment with that doctor. So what is actually here? So there's a date. So what you can do is this. If they send you a date and they send you a doctor ID, the first thing to do, find the doctor. Make sure that the doctor exists on the platform without their ID. That's the first thing. When you find a doctor, now using the date they send to you, check whether the date they send you matches any date that is inside the doctor's availability array. If there is no date that match that date they sent to you, return to them that this doctor is not available on that date. But if there is a date that matches, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, but if there is a date that matches the date they sent to you, return a message that their appointment has been booked successfully. That's all. So implement a route to view all the appointments that have been booked. If you want to cancel, then make sure there should be. Now, this canceling appointment means inside the appointment, there will be status here. So this status can either be waiting, cancelled, or there are different status you want to use. So one of them will be cancelled. That is what is here. So you can find a book appointment and change the status to cancel. That's what this cancelling appointment means here. So, but like I said, if you're able to build this thing as a team and you present this project anywhere, there is no way they will, except you are not able to defend what you built. Or if you can defend one project you built, nobody will say you're not good with backend. They know you are good with this. Of course, not everybody that can build this thing. This is actually a project that they can be paid to do this. You have to be paid to work on this. But because it's your first time, you have to build it free and use it as your gate pass. So that's for, so have 3 schemas, implement the route for booking, viewing, canceling, appointments, manage doctor availability. Now, this doctor availability is very, very important. There should be a route that takes the doctor's ID and their dates. They can add multiple dates. So which is why this availability has to be an array of dates. Array holds multiple values, so it should hold multiple dates. The doctor should add multiple dates into their availability. When the user is trying to book an appointment, you get the doctor's ID, find the doctor. If the doctor exists, then you proceed to use the date the user sent to you and run it against all the dates that are inside the availability to check if anyone match. If any of them match, then complete the booking. If none of them match, return that the doctor is not available on that date. That's all. Ensure only patients can book appointments and only doctors can manage schedules. Schedules here means adding dates. Adding date. So only doctors can add date to their name. Users, patients cannot add. Now this patient here means the role of that user has to be patient. You can create other roles, maybe for doctor, for cleaners and all of that. But the role of the user that can actually place the booking has to be patient. And that's all. So I think we've done justice to explain this medical appointment booking system. Any other?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Any other question before we end? Any question before we end the class? Should we end the class? Drop a thumbs up so that we can end the class. Should we end the class? Drop a thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I want to see what you build so that there's a project I'm currently working on. And that project, I'm working on it with one of my students. Like I taught him and he's on the project with me and we're working together on the project. I also have another project with 2 of my students that are working with me on the project. And I also have another one that might be coming up and is also with my students. So I will be very proud to work on any project with any of you. All right, see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.